Hey everyone, it's Alice, and today I'm revisiting my These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months list and seeing how I'm doing so far. So These Books Will Self-Destruct in 12 Months was an idea from Becca in the Books. She picks a list of books that she wants to read within the next 12 months, and if she hasn't read them by the end of that year, then she donates them and she just gets them out of her life. So I decided to make a list back in May. So it's been just over 6 months since I did that. We're about halfway through. And I thought I might as well revisit that today because I can't actually remember what I put on it. Which means the likelihood is I've read none of them, and I now have 5 months while still coming out of a reading slump to try to read 10 books that I don't really think I'm going to love that much, which is a problem, but it's better to find out now than to wait and in 5 months' time realise that I've read none of them and they all have to be donated. So, come with me on a journey back to May and see if I've actually managed to read any of these books and hopefully see which ones I will read in the next 5 months. So the first book on my list was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I still haven't read this. I'm still interested in it. Once Upon a Broken Heart is the first book in the spin-off series and it's just been released. I've got the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition and I've got multiple editions of Caraval, so I would really like to read it. I think the hype just concerns me on this one because everybody loves it. If you don't love Caraval, you haven't read Caraval, it seems. So I'm scared that I'm going to be one of the outliers and I'm not going to enjoy it, and it's like a massive series, so that would be such a shame. But yeah, I'm still going to try to read this one because I don't want to end up unhauling my multiple copies, especially when I've already got the first book in the spin-off series. The next book on my list was S.A. Chakraborty's City of Brass, and I have not read this one either. It's very big, which is my only defence. It's very big, and it's high fantasy, and I've been slumping. Not, admittedly, for all of the past 7 months, but for most of them. So that's not the kind of thing I'm going to pick up, because it's not a light and easy and quick read, is it? So I'm less convinced that I'm going to get to this one. Again, this is a series that everybody loves, and if you haven't read it, then you don't love it, but if you have read it, then you do love it, and I'm scared of the hype. But these ones are on my library app, so if I do have to unhaul my proof, it was a one that got sent in an Alyce crate box. If I do have to unhaul that, then it wouldn't be the worst thing, because I would still have access to be able to read these 3 books, and I don't own the other 2, so it would just be that one. It would just be that one, which would be, like, not great, but okay. The third book on my list was Nightblood by Ellie Blake, which I wish I would just admit defeat and say that I'm never going to read it, because I don't think I'm ever going to read it, but part of me doesn't want to DNF this series. I just hated the first 2, because the first book is okay, average, pretty standard YA fantasy. The second book repeats the first book. It's literally the same book twice. There's basically no character development. It just flicks it so that instead of like the Fireblood training with the Frostblood, it's the Frostblood training with the Fireblood or something. But it's the same kind of 3 acts. It's very repetitive, and I was tearing my hair out. And this was just after Ezra was born, so at that point, because I was all hyped up on having a new baby, I was rating basically all the books I read really high, like higher than they deserved. So the fact that I still really criticised this one proves that I didn't like it at all. But I did buy the third one because I was promising myself that I would finish more series last year, and now it's been 2 years since I read the first book and I still haven't read the third one. I'll give it a go just to see how it ends. Then I can unhaul them all, which will clear up some space. Ooh, the next book on my list was a controversial one. I cannot remember putting this on here. It was The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. The third book in the Lord of the Rings series. I didn't like the first 2, so I can see why I would put it on here, because if I don't like the third one, then I want to unhaul them, and if I don't read the third one, I'm ever really going to read it. Okay, controversial opinion alert. They're boring. They're so boring. There's just so much overly descriptive walking and so much overly descriptive scenery. I got better shit to do with my time, man. Loved The Hobbit because The Hobbit actually told a story and The Hobbit actually went somewhere, as well as having these beautiful descriptions. But they're just walking. They got a ring and they got to get rid of this ring because bad shit's gonna happen. And then they just walk for a really, really goddamn long time while they're trying to get rid of it. And people walking bores me. I'm sorry that this is like one of the most loved series in the entire world and it's basically just a load of short men walking. But I still want to read the last one because it is a well-loved series, but I don't know if it's ever gonna happen. I don't know, maybe I read these when I was too old because they were like originally aimed to be like children's books, and when I was reading the first one when I was a teenager, I was really enjoying it. I flew through the first half of it and then I just hit this brick wall and I couldn't get any further. Maybe if I'd pushed through that and read them then, I would have loved these. I don't know. I'll probably still read it just to see how it finishes. They put the ring in the mountain. They like the ring burns and then they're all like, woo, the Dark One's been vanquished. I know how it ends because it's not exactly out of spoilery, like it's not exactly in spoiler avoided territory. It's very odd. But that doesn't help me want to read it. Everybody's gonna hate me now. We then reach a book that I've actually read, which is Delirium by Lauren Oliver, and I really didn't enjoy it. Gave it 3 stars. It was a good dystopian. I, again, probably would have loved it if I'd read it when I was younger. I wanted to carry on with the rest of the series, and it's now been 6 months and I haven't picked any of them up, so I might not. But I might, because it was a really quick read. It was, like, super quick. So at least there's that. I have read one of these. And I've also got Wither by Lauren DeStefano on this list, which is another way dystopian, but I haven't picked that one up yet. I don't even think I've brought the hardcover of that one over from my parents' house yet. So maybe I will read it, but this looks like this video was a terrible idea. It's just me being like, actually, do I really want to read any of these books? None of them are getting me excited about getting out of my reading slump. Caraval, oh, still scared of the hype on that one, but like, none of these are like, oh my god, actually I really, really want to pick up that one. So, that tells you something. The next book on my list was Grave Mercy by Robin LaFavors. I'm still really interested in this one because it is assassin nuns in like the 1600s, 1200s? I don't know, it's historical fantasy. I don't read historical, I don't read much fantasy. I like the idea of assassin nuns, but I've also heard that that's basically the entire premise of J. Kristoff's Nevernight series, which I'm more interested in. I will try it because I've had it for so long and it still does interest me. But again, it's not exciting me. The next book on my list was Truth or Dare by Non Pratt, which I should definitely have read already, considering Sean and I have like 4 or 5 copies between us. I'm indecisive on this one because it's a flippy book, so there's like 2 different ways of reading it. You can read the first and then the second, or you can read the second and then the first, or you can like alternate the chapters, so I guess actually there's 3 ways of reading it. I'm an indecisive person. I struggle to even get dressed in the morning because I have too many cool Christmas jumpers to wear to work and I don't know which one to pick up. So, trying to decide how to read a story is not the easiest thing for me. I own two of the flippy books. I also have Replica by Lauren Oliver. Replica? Yeah, it is called Replica. That was good memory. I haven't read that one either because the pressure, trying to decide with the flippy. It's a great concept. I love the idea. I'm never going to know what the execution's like because I'm too indecisive. So I would like to read this, yes. Will I ever read it? I probably won't be able to physically bring myself to. What's wrong with me? And the last book on my list was the chunkiest, and I think if we started it today, we still wouldn't have it finished by the time it was meant to self-destruct, and that's Inheritance by Christopher Paolini, who is the author of Eragon, and this is the last book in the Eragon series, the Inheritance Cycle series, Inheritance. It's big. And, again, controversial opinion, but it's quite similar to Lord of the Rings in that it's just really boring. there's dragons, and it shouldn't be possible to be as bored as I get while reading a book about dragons, but oh my Jesus Christ, there's so much, like, political machinations, and I'm like, these are written for teenagers. Teenagers don't care about that shit, do they? If you read this as a teenager and you really cared about that, like, let me know, because I struggle to believe you. I just think, like, there's really cool fight sequences, and the interactions between the characters and the relationships between them are really compelling, and I really like the characters, so I want to like this series, but lots of walking, lots of ruminating on what it means to be Aragon and be, like, chosen. Like, he can mentally communicate with this dragon and I'm still bored. That's not what we want. I might still read it because I did get 3 books deep into this series, so it would be good to finish off. But I loved the first one. I loved the first one so much, and then the second one bored me, and then the third one I really struggled to get through, so I just can't see me enjoying the climax anymore. But I will think about trying. So what you've learnt from this video today is that I'm great at setting myself challenges and I am not great to rising to the occasion of those challenges. So out of the 10 books that are self-destructing, potentially, I've read one of them and not really enjoyed it, so it will probably end up being on hold anyway. Will I save any of these books? Who knows? Check back in May when I will be revisiting this video again and realising I've already forgotten all of the things that I've mentioned again, and I'll go, oh no, I've got to get rid of Lord of the Rings, whoops. And Sean will probably stop me from getting rid of it anyway because he likes it. So I will unhaul it personally and it will just go to him, but I will never read it. Or I might. I hate myself. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, we would be super duper grateful. We are posting a new video every single day in December. It is the 20th today, so you've got at least another 11 videos coming from us, and I say at least because I've realised that I've planned too many videos. So you might get a few extra ones from us at the start of January again, which is a mess. But continue to pop back for daily videos with either Sean or I. We will be doing some fun stuff, hopefully, and possibly feeling less like failures. Woo! Thank you for watching. Bye! Oh, I need to have my breakfast before I go to work. Yummy, yummy, Nesquik.